In this video, you're going to learn how to build upvote and downvote functionality into a bubble app, similar to an app like Reddit. If you enjoy this video and want to get access to our full course learning how to build an app like Reddit from start to finish, check out the link in the description to go to our No Code MBA bubble course, where you'll learn how to build an app like Reddit, Airbnb, build apps with AI integrations like OpenAI, so you can build your own text and image generation apps, and much more. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this video. So to do this, we need to add workflows to both the upvote and downvote buttons here. So to do this, actually the first thing I want to do is double click on the upvote button. The icon color, I just want to make it black. So I'm going to drag it all the way back to black, and same here, all the way to black for the icon color's default color here. So for upvote, we're going to add a workflow. What we're going to do is we're going to add an action, which is make changes to a thing. The thing we're going to change is that post, so the parent group's post here. And that's why we set this upvote downvote group's post to the parent group's post type of content. We're going to change upvoted by. We're going to add current user. We're going to also change downvoted by and remove current user, just in case this is going to add logic to go back and forth, essentially. And then what we're going to do is change the score of this post to the parent group's post's score plus 1. So we're essentially adding 1 to the score here, upvoting and downvoting. Okay. And then we're going to do essentially the opposite for the downvote button. So we're going to click on that, add a workflow, and what we're going to do is make changes to a thing, which is going to be the parent group's post. We're going to change downvoted by, and we're going to add current user. Upvoted by, we're going to remove current user. And then we're going to change the score, and we're going to do parent group's posts score minus 1. So we're essentially subtracting 1 from the score here. But what we want to do is add some logic so that you can only upvote if you're not already in the upvote group there that we added. So we want to make sure people can only upvote and downvote basically once, or they can't kind of keep upvoting. So we're going to go back to the edit, and when upvote is clicked, we're going to say only when the parent group's posts upvoted by doesn't contain current user. So we're only going to let them upvote when it doesn't contain the current user. And then very similarly for downvote, we're going to only allow this downvote to happen when the parent group's posts downvoted by doesn't contain current user. So what's going to happen is if the user has already upvoted, they're not going to be able to upvote again. There's one more thing that we need to do, which is essentially have additional logic to add 2, or subtract 2 here from the post if the user is downvoting or upvoting and they are a part of this already. The reason being is if you think about it, if you start at 0, if you upvote and we add 1 here, and then you downvote, we want to actually go to -1, right? Because we don't want to go back to 0, because then you can never downvote negatively if you have already upvoted. So to do this, here we go. So we have this first logic. So we're going to upvote, downvote, and add 1. So to do that, we're essentially going to add a little bit more logic here. So it's so this workflow is going to happen when the post downvoted doesn't contain current user and the parent group posts upvoted doesn't contain current user. So we're going to add 1 or subtract 1 when it's essentially empty. The user hasn't done it yet. And same thing here. When upvoted doesn't contain current user and parent group posts downvoted by doesn't contain current user. And then what we're going to do is duplicate both of these. So I'm copying and pasting it. So just right click, copy and paste. Now we have two that are the exact same. And then same for downvote. I'm copying and pasting. And now we have two for downvote. So what I'm going to do is for this upvote one, I'm going to say, change the logic here for when we're going to run the others and add 2 and subtract 2. So we're going to do this for upvote. So we're going to say when parent groups posts upvoted by doesn't contain current user, and parent groups post downvoted by contains current user. And then same for the downvote, we're going to do similar logic. So actually, before we do that, let's finish off this logic. So the one on contains, so the one we just changed where it's contains, we're going to add 2. And then you'll see this in action in a second. So now for downvote, same thing, just take one of them. Instead of doesn't contains, it's going to be contains. So it's when parent groups post downvoted by doesn't contain current user, and the parent groups post upvoted by does contain current user. So when that's the case, we want to subtract 2. Now there might be other ways to do this. This is just a simple, relatively simple way that I figured out to essentially manage the score here. Okay. Now, another way that you could potentially do this is essentially instead of, counting the score up, you could dynamically show the score by adding up, people in upvoted minus people in downvoted. The only issue with that is you're going to have to load these scores, which could be a lot if you have a lot of posts on a page. So that's just one reason why we're doing it the way we are. But just kind of keep that in mind that there are multiple ways to handle this. So the last thing I want to do is on this upvote and downvote buttons, I want to add conditionals and say when the parent group's posts upvoted by contains current user. What I want to do is change the the color, so icon color, and let's just make this that main primary color. And I'm just going to duplicate that style, that conditional style, and go to the downvote and paste it in under conditional. And now when it's parent groups posts downvoted by contains current user, we're going to highlight it. So basically we're going to highlight it when the user has upvoted or downvoted. Okay, cool. So we are getting pretty close here. Let's go ahead and test out this functionality that we just created. So let's go to our home page and preview. And you want to make sure we're on the index page, which we are, it looks like, because it has that create a community button. So we can see that because we built it, that by default, it's upvoted by the user. If I click that button, it's not going to do anything because it's already upvoted. But if I click downvote, it should go to -1. There we go. So it went to -1, and I have that downvote button highlighted now. So if I click back up to positive, it's going to go back to 1 and go back to -1. So it's working correctly, and it's not letting us upvote or downvote more than once. So we have security built into it. So pretty cool. It's all working correctly there, and this is a very cool feature that you could use in a lot of different types of apps. So let's go ahead and just add another post here, just so we can see what it looks like with more data on our page, and we might need to edit the design slightly as a result. So let's go ahead and submit a post. Let's also do it under movies. And how about this can be, what's your favorite sports movie? Share below. And then why don't we add an image as well here? So I just uploaded an image that I found online. I just searched for sports emoji. And let's go ahead and create this and see how it looks. So here we go. Now we have the title, we have the text, and we have our image here. And if I click go back to movies, it should take us back to our movies tab. And now we're seeing both of them, but we can't upvote and downvote because we only added that logic for now to the home page. We'll make some changes in the future to allow us to do it on both. But let's go back to the home page by just going to your URL bar and just deleting everything before version test or after version test. And then here we go. So we have our image. And we can see from a design perspective, we might want to add a default image here. So just that if there isn't an image, that something shows up. So I'll show you how to do that, and let's work on the design slightly of this page here. So let's go back to our editor. And here we are in the editor, and we have that image that I just talked about here. And what I want to do is add a default image. So to do that, let's go over to the conditional tab. Let's add another condition. So we're going to say when the parent group's posts image is empty, we're going to add an image source, and we're just going to upload an image here. So I just searched for pencil emoji on Google, and I added in this static image of a pencil emoji to indicate that it's a post. And let's check our app here and see if that worked. Okay, cool. So it worked. Now we have this pencil emoji showing up if there is no image on our post here. All right, so let's go back to our designer, and I want to make a couple changes. So the first thing I want to do is add a little bit more spacing. So I'm going to click on that group post that has everything here inside the post. Go to layout, and for column spacing, I'm going to make it 15, just so there's a little bit more space in between these items here. And let's just see how that looks. So I think that's a little bit better. And I'm not going to focus too much. There's definitely a few other things that we could potentially do. But I think that looks good for now. Let's add one more thing. I want to say when I hover over, I want it to hover to this blue color. So to do that, just go back to your designer, click on that upvote conditional. So what we're going to say is when it contains current user, it's blue, or when this icon is hovered. And same thing below, when it's downvoted, when a downvote contains current user, or this icon is hovered. Okay, so let's go see how this looks. And let's check this out. So now, cool, it's showing up when it's hovered and showing up when it's hovered. So it's working correctly now. So I think that's just a nice kind of user interface thing to build there. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. If you want to access the full course on No Code MBA about how to build an app like Reddit, check the link in the description. And when you sign up for this course, you'll also get access to all of No Code MBA's education in one membership, which covers building apps like Airbnb, building AI apps like a text generation app or an image generation app using OpenAI and other AI integrations into Bubble and other no-code tools. And you'll also get access to our Webflow content, Glide, Airtable, and much more. So I hope that you found this helpful. Be sure to subscribe to our channel to get all of our future free content here on YouTube, and I'll see you in the next video.